Welcome to African Boss. Today I've got the man, the myth, and the legend, a friend of mine as well. But he's going to tell us his perception on life in the West, as well as life in Africa, having grown up half your life in Africa, as well as in the West.
True.
And also your achievements.
Yes.
You're an aspiring politician.
Yeah, I wouldn't say aspiring. I would choose to be, the correct word would be self-styled politician.
And also, I like his perception on politics. He's very good, got very good grip on Southern African politics. So we're gonna also talk a little bit about that.
Thank you.
So, so how long have you been in Australia for? Like, where are you from? Maybe I should start there.
So I'm originally from Malawi, as you know. We are brothers from the same country.
Yes.
And I've been here almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
The experience has been quite challenging and sweet at the same time, or bittersweet to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far so good. I can't complain.
So what's your first experience of Australia? Do you remember the first time you landed, say at the
airport?
At the airport.
Yeah, I think that part of the journey was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
I think that the transition between flying from Africa and getting to Perth, I was somehow taken back because it was my first time leaving Malawi.
Yeah.
And when I got to Joburg Airport, by then it was Johannesburg International Airport.
Yeah.
Now
Jan
it's
Smuts, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now it's Tambo.
Old Tambo.
I was quite amazed with the infrastructure and the whole setup of the buildings and all that. And
that's in South Africa.
That's in South, yeah. So I kept on telling myself, if this is what I'm experiencing here in Africa, if I'm going to Australia, I'm definitely going to space, So I got to Perth Airport,
yes,
and I could not believe it.
Okay.
Perth International Airport is not really your world-class international airport.
Now? How about now?
Well, it's improving, but you can't compare with Hong Kong or Dubai, and even you can't compare with Johannesburg. So when I got here, I was like, no, I think I haven't arrived yet.
Yes. It was small, hey?
No,
it was quite small.
Very tiny. And the guy kept on saying, no, you're here. I'm like, no, I'm certain this is not Australia. And to make it worse,
it's
arrived.
Wakanda.
Yeah, I arrived in summer, so got outside the airport, and it was very hot. But yeah, it's been a journey. Yeah.
When I came into Australia, the person that was looking after us to come into Australia told me that, well, you're gonna have to have a winter jacket.
Yeah.
So I arrived at the airport with the whole winter jacket and stuff. I was like sweating and everything.
This is like the hottest part of the world. Yeah.
So, and then left the airport.
Yeah, so my first transition, I came here as a student. So
all right.
I was fortunate enough, my dad was able to find a college to do business here.
Yeah.
So I did that for I think 2-3 years.
But you are not a business person, isn't it? Like, you don't work in an office. You're gonna tell us what you do in a minute, but that's interesting.
Yes, but it's been a journey. I did my education. I was lucky enough to stick around.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot through the 19-20 years. But yeah, now I'm sort of trying to contemplate my next chapter in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are a geologist?
Yes, by profession, yeah.
Okay. As well as you're a philanthropist. I
Yes.
can never say that word.
Yeah, philanthropist, yes.
You you run a foundation?
Yes, my family, we do run FM Foundation, which is mainly focused in agriculture, health, and was supporting the welfare of people in northern part of Malawi.
Oh, great.
It's probably the most exciting part of my life, to be honest.
Yes.
I suppose there isn't that push to be answerable to your boss, or meeting targets.
Yeah.
but rather just stepping out and do good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're quite passionate about that as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. As I said, that's probably the most exciting part of my life. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen. We'll put a link where you can go to his website, FM Foundation as well.
Sure.
So you do help out in Malawi, specifically in the northern part of
Yes,
Malawi. Is
yes.
that where you're from in Malawi, right?
Yes, from Nzimba.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Simba, yeah.
Yes, my father, he grew up in the actual rural area.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the only educated child in his family.
Okay.
So throughout the years, he's been able to support his siblings and cousins, take them to school, and all that. So I would say maybe the philanthropist part of my attitude or charity work that I do is mainly a byproduct of his upbringing.
Yeah. You know, just I think we come from a culture that's all about families and it's all about your village.
Yeah.
And then we share what we have as well.
And it's quite opposite here, you see, because I mean, I'm not saying the families here they're not as strong, but the attitude towards family is kind of different. In Africa, we move as a pack, but I think the Western culture it's kind of different. It's almost every man by himself.
Yeah.
Usually until you're too old and they want to put you in a nursing home, and you're like, now where's my 29-year-old son, or you know, where are the lost cousins? But yeah.
Wow. So what are your childhood memories of Africa? How was it for you growing up? You know, you play all the games Africa.
Yeah,
as a child, were you poor or what? Rich, what?
It's interesting to look at it from, I suppose, after being here for so long.
Yeah.
And then to sort of look back to what we used to call fun. It's probably a hazard to kids here because there will be the safety aspect of it, saying, no, you're too young and you can't be climbing on top of the tree. You're 8 years old, you can't be jumping in the river because who knows, there could be a crocodile in there.
Yeah, I know.
But
stay outside for like the whole bloody night.
So you run around the neighborhood and I look back, I can't take anything.
Yeah.
I can't take anything from upbringing. I think it's spiced it up things for me to this stage.
You see the perception of like they'll be like, Africa is so poor, but when you're kids, you don't, isn't it?
No, and I think that's how life is structured. You usually make a do with what you have.
Yeah.
You find the fun in what you have, and
and you grow up just like that. You don't
Just
know
like
any
that,
better.
yes.
You just have fun.
Yes.
Right, so you come in around in your teenage years. So then, what was the transition like from being in that environment into the Australian culture where everyone else is a little bit different, I guess?
Yeah. As I said, it's been a bittersweet being in Australia. I'll always call Australia home. Pretty much what I know now as an adult is a product of being here. But yeah, it was a massive culture shock.
Yeah.
I remember a while back I visited this family, and dinner time on a Sunday they said, it's make your own.
Okay.
So I'm like, make your own? What do you mean it's make your own?
Yeah.
Or lunchtime they'll bring in sandwiches. I'm used to eating sadza or nsima or fufu, if you want to call it. I'm used to be eating the heavy stuff, and these guys are giving me a sandwich. So I'm thinking, this is breakfast. This is not lunch food. But yeah, I mean, to sum it up, it's been an interesting journey. I've grown. I think I've matured in my level of thinking.
Yeah.
And to the point where I can comfortably say I would want to transition from this environment and hopefully go back to my environment I grew up in and make a bit of a difference.
Racism. What do you think about Australian and that aspect of
He's trying to put me on the spot. Yeah.
What is it like? What do you? I mean, especially at that time, like from what has been your experience anyway?
Well, that's a. I can, when it comes to race, it's for me. I find it a very touchy subject.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we are different. So
Yeah.
whether you like it or not, you cannot walk in an environment where you don't look like anyone else.
Yeah.
And expect everyone to think that you look like them.
Kiss you and hug you.
Yeah, it's not gonna work like that. So that part of nature of the fabric of our being will always be there. You see.
Because we stand out, don't we? We black people.
Yeah. We
Absolutely
stand out wherever we go. So
You can't run away from
nah,
being black.
you can't. I mean, to tell you the truth, to even dwell on how you look everywhere you go, you're probably not gonna have an interesting life. Because then you think everyone is picking on you.
Definitely.
But like everywhere else in the world, you might go in a society, you find people that don't like you just because it's you. It's not because you're black, but maybe they just don't like your attitude. So I've had both ends of racial experiences in Australia, where you go in places where people
You
they
don't
accept
belong.
you, and you go in other places where you're like, oh no, I think.
Is that one you used to club? You go to a club and say that you don't belong here.
Yes,
Man.
but I suppose with Australia usually, and that has been for a while, it's a multicultural environment,
Yeah, but it is now, isn't it?
and I think the easiest way to fit in is by doing the things that makes you Australian. So it might either be the usual barbecue stuff, or going fishing, or checking up on your neighbors every now and then.
Yeah.
The little things that defines any other society. And I think the more you have a resistant attitude to how people live and behave in their home, then you're more likely to start picking.
One aspect that we probably don't never talk about is the mental health aspect.
Yes, true.
Of this transition.
Mm-hmm.
We know, we've been through that experience.
Yes.
Almost each one of our mates, every one of them
True.
have gone through that mental head of
Yeah.
that you don't expect. They don't teach you.
No.
They don't tell you that you can experience that.
When you're far away from home, now you never get told
It's
that.
isolation. It's
Yes.
different.
Yes.
So many things.
And there's no sense of belonging because your family is never around, and the people that you might call family will be like you and me, who you come from the same country.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might not even have the same goals. So, that sense,
Was that hard for you to go through that? Because I've talked to quite a few people.
yes,
I've been through that mental sort of
yes,
header. You obviously come out the other way.
yeah.
Or hopefully come out right.
I did have my problems, and I think as a teenager, I chose partying and drinking as a good getaway from that part of issues. But in hindsight, I would say we all gotta grow somehow. And it's sad that others have to go through that phase in order to come out better, and others they go through that phase and they don't come out better.
Okay, I know, but you know how the uni part of it, when we come up in the first time, they used to talk about cultural shock and stuff.
Yes.
But they never really addressed that aspect of it, isn't it?
No. There was never a mechanism in place to actually give you the or a hand or a guideline into or the transitional part of it. Like how are you gonna get to the other side? I still remember one day I went in class and this lecture was a funny lecture. And he said to me once,
I love this story.
and he said to me once, he said,
Oh, wait for it.
I just walked I just walked into the classroom and I didn't shut the door.
Yeah.
So I sat down. He stopped talking and he looked at me. He said, "Were you born in a tent?" I was in shock, and that was the first time I heard the expression. And mind you, that was what, I was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
You know, fresh out of Malawi. You know, coming to Australia is so exciting, and you know, the world is your oyster and all that. And this guy is asking me whether I was born in a tent. I'm like, how the hell do you have the nerve? You know what I mean? I
Born
stormed
in a
out there.
tent.
You know, I stormed out there. But yeah, it's one of those.
And what does that expression mean? Like, if somebody says, "Were you born in a tent?" What happened? You was late for class, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was late for class and I didn't shut the door. So I walked in the classroom and I didn't shut the door. So he
Oh,
wasn't
you
saying I was born on the tent, but he was questioning whether, you know how when you're in a tent, you don't usually go in a tent and you close the zip on the tent. You know, you walk in a tent and you sit in there, you don't zip it up.
Yeah.
So his expression was asking me, "Come on, mate, you should have closed the door. Were you born in a tent?" You know, not actually inferring that I was.
Okay. That's pretty funny. But that's the those are the other issues. But what was I gonna say about that? Because I know you when you get angry as well. You probably would have been burning.
No, I mean, I'm very passionate about things. You know that.
I just couldn't picture you like in the class.
I stormed out, and everyone didn't understand. Everyone was in disbelief. So yeah.
Oh, funny. Oh, okay. Yeah, but on a serious note, though, as well as we know of our mates or other African boys.
Yes.
Where I always say that lots of them went home. Others didn't do as well.
Sure.
Now it's raining. We have to pack up and go.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll give it a crack another time. Yeah.
No, we'll do the second part next. Because it's raining,
Yeah.
so we gotta take cover,
Take cover. Yeah.
and we'll see you on the episode 2. All right,
Thank you.
peace.